In the heart of a bustling city, where the streets never slept and the air buzzed with the hum of traffic, notifications, and endless conversations, lived a young man named Arjun. Despite having everything a good job, friends, and a comfortable life, he felt restless. His mind was drowning in noise. Every day, he scrolled through advice, read self-help books, and listened to motivational speakers. But no matter how much knowledge he consumed, his heart remained unsettled. One evening, frustrated and exhausted, he confided in an old man at a quiet tea shop. The man listened patiently and then smiled. "If you truly seek peace, don't chase more words. Seek silence." Then, he told Arjun about a monastery hidden deep in the mountains where monks lived without speaking, yet carried an unshakable peace. Curious and desperate, Arjun packed his bags and set out on the journey. After days of travel, he finally reached the monastery. It was unlike anything he had seen before. No grand gates, no banners of wisdom, just a simple wooden structure surrounded by towering trees. The air felt different here, as if even nature itself whispered instead of spoke. A monk greeted him at the entrance with a bow. Arjun waited for him to say something, but the monk simply smiled and gestured for him to follow. Inside, he saw monks moving about, sweeping the floors, preparing meals, meditating, but no one spoke. Confused, he approached an elderly monk and asked, "Master, I have come seeking wisdom. What is the secret to inner peace?" The monk simply looked at him, smiled, and walked away. Days passed. No lessons, no lectures, no words of guidance. The silence was unbearable. Arjun's thoughts screamed louder than ever. "Why am I here? What is the point of this?" But since he had come so far, he decided to stay. At first, the silence felt like torture. When he sat to meditate, his mind was a battlefield. Memories from the past, regrets, fears, worries about the future. His body ached to check his phone, to read something, to do something. But then, something changed. One morning, as he sat outside watching the monks work in silence, he began noticing things he had never noticed before: the way the leaves danced with the wind, the rhythm of his own breath, the distant sound of a river flowing. For the first time in his life, he wasn't just hearing, he was listening. As days turned into weeks, his mind began to slow down. He started feeling lighter, clearer. The storm inside him grew quieter. One evening, as the sun painted the sky in shades of gold, the head monk finally spoke. Just one sentence: "True wisdom is not in words, but in listening to the silence." At that moment, something clicked. Silence wasn't emptiness. It wasn't loneliness. It was a mirror, a space where he could finally hear his own soul. He realized that the world had never been too loud. His mind had been too noisy, and in all his years of searching for answers in words, he had ignored the one voice that mattered most, the one that spoke in silence. That night, he sat under the stars, feeling something he had never felt before: peace. As he prepared to leave the monastery, the head monk handed him a small wooden plaque. On it, a single word was carved. Arjun returned to the city, but he was not the same person anymore. The streets were still noisy, people still talked endlessly, but now he no longer felt overwhelmed. Because while the world around him was loud, he carried silence within him. He had learned that true peace isn't found in escaping noise, but in mastering silence. And sometimes, the answers we seek are not in words but in the spaces between them. In a world obsessed with talking, the greatest power is in listening, not just to others, but to yourself. If this story touched your heart, embrace silence and let it guide you to wisdom. Like, share, and subscribe if you believe in the power of silence.